All right. Hello, everybody. It is Valentine's Day, so happy Valentine's Day. And if you guys have anything you want me to address specifically, just go ahead and hop out. We will get after it. Good to see some of you I haven't seen in here in a little while, so welcome back. And anybody right out of the gate, you want to get started, or you want me to hop into a topic here? All right. Well, just go ahead. Feel free to interrupt me anytime you want. What I want to talk about is the Google slap. And this is a different kind than some of you may be used to. I know most of you are used to Google slap in relationship to SEO, search engine optimization. And today, I want to talk about a different kind of Google slap. This is something that can affect your marketing. If you're doing marketing and you get this Google slap, it could be very, very painful. And your best efforts, you could be doing something that you think is really good, and it can come back around and bite you really, really hard. So the worst thing that can happen in the online world when you're doing e-commerce is to have people shop when they're not shopping for you. So this is what I'm referring to when I'm talking about the Google slap in context of today's conversation. And when you're creating your big ideas, this is where the problem lies. If you create a big idea and you refer to your unique mechanism as something that is commonly available in the market, you could actually get one of these Google slaps. And what I'm referring to, again, it's not the one you guys are used to from SEO. This is a marketing Google slap. So let's say you create your headline, you create your ad copy, and you put your unique mechanism in there, which is something generic, which it should never be. And this is where the problem lies. Let's say you're selling a well, for sake of argument, let's just say you're selling something like a diet product, and you make reference to a diet pill. So before they even click through to you, now their head is spinning. You've told them basically what you're talking about. You've told them what the secret is, and now they can go out to Google and they can put that in the search bar, and a bunch of people will come up for that product. That's what I'm referring to here as the Google slap. So it's a marketing Google slap, not a search engine optimization Google slap. That's the one where you do something shifty and they knock your rankings down. I'm not referring to that at all here. I'm referring to the idea that you are seeding your prospects with what you have so they can go look elsewhere for it. That's the Google slap I'm referring to. You want to avoid that at all costs. So in your marketing, we talk about the big idea being your front runner. That's the most important thing out on the front, to lead prospects into your funnels. So one of the things, like in the big idea training program that I've put together, there's a tutorial and there's also a bunch of examples. You'll notice in those examples, the curiosity factor. You've got to keep the curiosity factor very high. That's the only thing that's going to get them to click and opt in to find out what you're talking about. So you want to not specifically say what it is. It's almost like you're putting a tease out where they have to opt in to really find out what it is that you're talking about. And I see these all the time. They work really well. I fall for them time after time, week after week. Just recently, the one I see all the time is they talk about SEO. I'm on a ton of SEO lists, so I get all kinds of these emails that say, hey, we've got this magical thing that will rank your page, rank your website on the first page of Google, in 6 seconds, whatever it is. And you're like, well, that sounds pretty cool. And then you click on it and you opt in and you get onto their sales page and you find out it has nothing to do with your website at all. It's how to rank some YouTube video or something. So it's completely misleading as far as their statements. They're promising something that is a lie. I'm not saying to do that, but what I'm saying is if they had said that right up front, I would have known what to look for. I would have known what they were talking about. So I may not have been as interested as clicking through and opting in. So they would have lost that opportunity to get me as a prospect. So that's what I'm referring to here today in this Google slap. Don't allow them to search and become a commodity. Your unique mechanism should be unique to you. It should be completely branded, and if they go to search it, they should come to nothing but you. So that's really a key component, even prior to creating your big idea, is coming up with, what is that unique mechanism and how do you brand it to yourself? Because everybody's selling the same stuff. I'm sorry, but there's nothing new out there, really. It's almost everything is just rehashed stuff. So you have to position it to where they can't go and shop it. Otherwise, you're going to lose badly. Because if you think about it, what you did was you spent a bunch of money to activate people's awareness that they need something, and then they're going to go shop it and probably buy it elsewhere. So that's not what you want to do. You want to use that big idea to grab their interest, pique their curiosity, get them to opt in to learn more, and then you drop them into your funnel where you create demand and desire for your product by educating them that this is the ideal product for them. It's the ideal solution for their problem, even if they didn't know what the problem was. And you want to make sure that when you're talking about what it is that you're talking about, that it is uniquely branded. That unique mechanism that you're offering is uniquely yours, and if they search for it, all roads lead back to you. So hopefully I've said that in a way that makes sense to everybody, and if not, please come out and ask questions about that. Because whatever it is that you're offering, if you put it in a generic way that people can say, oh yeah, I need that done, and then they can go to Google and they can find 10 vendors for it, you're not playing the game properly. You want them to go and look for it and say, wow, these guys are the only ones that have this. Even though it is the same thing, they won't see it that way. And all roads will lead back to you. So this is part of, like, in your copy, you should be creating buying criteria. You should be teaching your prospects the way to shop for this service or this product. And you should teach them, like insurance guys are really good at this. You get an insurance salesman and he will put a presentation on to where everything fits. And if you go and try and shop it and you look for the criteria, because he's teaching you what's important. So when you go and you ask the other companies, if they have this or they offer this, they won't. And you've been taught that's important. So they won't fit the puzzle. So that's setting buying criteria. That's a really important piece to a sales process, is that you set the buying criteria. When you do that, not only do you create more demand for your product or service, but you eliminate the competition. And in the real world, that's that Google slap. The Google slap concept it's been around for a very long time. That's why salespeople, from way back, way before the internet, they were setting the buying criteria. They were teaching their prospects what's important about their product or service that no one else has. That way, when they get the idea, oh, well, I'm going to go see if I can get this cheaper, no one else has exactly what it was that they were offering. And they point that out as being the important piece to all of this. So anyway, that's kind of my wrap around the whole Google slap idea. If anybody wants more detail about that, more information, examples, anything like that, or if you guys got it, we can move on. All right, we got a bunch of people on here. My happy Valentine's special email got a lot of people's attention, I guess. So that's good. So tell me where you guys are at. What are you stuck on? What are you experiencing? Russ, go ahead.
Hey John, how you doing, buddy?
Good. Hey, welcome back. Haven't seen you in a few weeks.
Yeah, I've been busy. I got a new project going on,
Oh, cool.
and I think I could use your help. I'm a little rusty at. So I have a new product with my other job, and I'm trying to come up with keyword research and designing or labeling or coming up with the right page name.
Okay.
So if you could go through some quick refresher steps on how to create the page name and what you do about the keyword research.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
What you ultimately want to do when you're like creating a site or a section of a site around a new product, you want to go out and you want to figure out what the keywords are that are related to that product. Sometimes you'll find that there's multiple like segments of keywords that you could write a couple of different articles on. Like different people will have different interests. So it's just like in ACT when you do segmenting of your prospects. Different prospects are interested in different things. Maybe they've got different needs, different desires. And what you want to do is you want to try and figure out what those segments are and which keywords are in alignment with that segment. Like what would somebody be searching if they were interested in A versus the things that people would be searching when they're interested in B. And you kind of have multiple landing pages for the A and the B. Now, not knowing, exactly the details, that's just kind of a generic overview. If I were to look at how I do keyword research these days, I use SEMrush. And I'll go into the keyword section of it. And first of all, if I know the competitors, I'll type the competitors in and I'll see what keywords they're ranking for. And I'll take those and I'll slide those all into a spreadsheet. And then I'll go back and based on the keywords, what you'll find is your competitors will probably rank for a bunch of keywords that are completely irrelevant. They've probably got a ton of different products and services and keywords that are not what you're looking for. But look for the ones that are specific, segment those out, separate those out, and then take those keywords back to SEMrush and run each one of them individually and compile a list of all the variations. Because every time you run a keyword in SEMrush, it's going to come back with related keywords, similar keywords, all of the different keywords that are closely related to that. That's the easy way to do it. The hard way to do it would be to actually go to Google itself and start running these keywords in and seeing the suggestions that are being suggested. And then down at the bottom, there's related terms. That's the hard way to do it. That's going to take you a very long time and it's going to be not very fun. Not to say that SEMrush is fun, but it's a whole hell of a lot easier and faster.
Okay.
So I equate that to fun. That's the fun way to do something that's not very fun at all, which is keyword research.
Okay.
And then once I get that list compiled, the keywords are all going to be mashed together. So I'll go through and I'll physically separate them out and take a look at, okay, what groups do I have? What are the groups coming out here? And then if the groups are really good, if the group is like something that I could write an article about or, and when I say article, I'm talking about a marketing campaign, AKA marketing piece. I would craft a marketing piece for each set of keywords and then put that content on your site. And then if somebody comes into the main page, you can have like little blurbs on that main page, almost like a home page. But this is a home page for this section. And then you want to put all those little teasers on there that they can click here for more information. And then they go to that article. That's really if you're looking for a content recipe, that is probably the best content recipe that I could give you. So multiple articles, one page up above the, could be your main section page, and then that will go to the sub-content pages right below that. They call that siloing. There's, if you're using WordPress, there's a lot of WordPress plugins that will help you create silos or siloed content. And really, silo is nothing more than category. It's just a way to categorize your content. Google loves categorization. All the search engines do. It started with Yahoo. They set the standard for how to categorize content because they were a big alphabetical directory when they started. And didn't take them too long to figure out that was a bad idea. And then they had to recategorize, and they had to categorize into what people were interested in and how that all kind of shuffled out. And the internet marketing world and the marketing world online, they basically put the term silo to that. And the reason they did that comes back to my whole Google slap talk in the beginning of this call. Everybody wants to put a name to the way they do something, and that is why. Because when you can get a name associated to you and your company, then all roads lead back to you. Now, it happens to be that the silo word has become like Kleenex. It's a common generic term meaning something. So you don't want that. You don't ever want to use generic words like that. So like SEO, believe it or not, SEO was something that someone came up with. When I started doing SEO, we didn't even know what to call it. There was no SEO term. We didn't even call it search engine optimization. We really didn't know what to call it. So somebody came up with that, and for a very short time, they owned it. All roads led to them for SEO. But then everybody else jumped on it, and real quickly it just became a generic term. It's kind of like diet pill. The first guy to hit the market. Imagine if you were the first guy to hit the market with a diet pill. And everybody wanted it, and all roads led to you. You would have made a literal fortune overnight.
Now, when you say silo, do you have to have like the siloed name, like a category name, and then / the other page name? Does it have to all be formatted that way, or not necessarily?
Not necessarily. The best way that I feel is your keyword, whatever the main keyword for the content page is, that should be the name of that page. And as far as like your URL, the closer you can get your page name, which is your main keyword, to the front connected to your domain, the better off you are. Like I see some people that will have, their domainname.com / and then I think a lot of the programs will put pages. I hate that. There's no reason to have a section called pages. You would want to have a section called, whatever your category is. And then after that, then the page name. Or there's certain plugins now where it will eliminate the category. When somebody clicks directly on the page, it will take that page name and just put it right after the domain. So it's then domainname.com / page name. So from a search engine perspective, they put more weight on the front end of things than the back end. So if you've got 3 categories and then your page name isn't carrying a lot of weight, even though it's your keyword. So the closer you can move that keyword to the base, the more power it's going to hold.
So it's okay to have domain name / keyword instead of domain name / category / keyword.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's WordPress plugins that will do that for you. They'll optimize your site structure for you like that.
Okay.
I wish I knew what the names of them were. I'm not a big WordPress guy.
Yeah.
I know I see them all the time. I get a ton of these emails coming across with all the different plugins that come out, what they do and why they're for and all that.
No, nobody asked a question, but I had a quick question on your opening topic when you're talking about the marketing
The Google
whatever,
app.
Google Slap. So, so why would you put your product name or the product out front anyway, so people could search for it? Why would you do that?
Well, the whole point to that was you don't. If unless it's like something really unique. Like I've been working on a lot of big ideas with a lot of the apprentice members, and one of the things they always try and do is they try and put their thing in the big idea. And like, for instance, I've worked with Jay, and his deal is he's doing NLP treatments, and he's trying to get people to schedule an appointment so he can book them into a series of treatments using NLP. So I'm like, we can't do that. We can't say NLP, because as soon as you do that, as soon as you put NLP in there, they're going to know what it is, and they're going to go search for who else offers that. And there's a ton of people that offer that. And all of a sudden now we just spent money to drive traffic to other people. That's not the point of good marketing. Good marketing, you want to spend money to create interest in you, not in the market. So what you have needs to at least be portrayed in the beginning as unique. If it's not unique in the beginning, there's no reason for them to opt in. A lot of people have a hesitation to opt in. And if they don't opt in, there's no way for you to educate them. There's no way for you to plead your case of why you're the best, the best service or best product for them. And if you don't get that, then you really don't have anything. So the money that you spent to market is a waste. So you want to create a huge peak of curiosity that they have to click to get in. And like for in relationship to SEO, it's no different trying to get your click-through ratios up. Remember, I taught you guys how to do that little trick on your titles and your descriptions so that they don't know they don't know the end. It's like leaving them on a cliffhanger. They've got to click to see what the rest of the sentence says. So truncating your descriptions is a really powerful tool. And you have to really craft that truncation. Like if you put on there, this product offers the best of, whatever, and as a bonus, you're going to get ... Now, when they see that, they're going to go, I'm going to get what? You have to click it to find out what they're going to get.
Right.
Everybody wants a bonus. Or you can say, we have a special offer where you get X amount off if you type this in, or if you type this in, you'll get a huge discount equal to ... It's kind of it's a fun kind of game figuring out what's going to really grab them. And the things that are going to do that, it's hard for me to throw just generics out without knowing what we're talking about. But when you've done the analysis and the ACT program, and you understand their timeline and you understand what's important to them, then those key things are going to raise to the top, and that's what you can take advantage of to get them to click. That's the kind of things you can use to create intrigue in your big ideas. So
Okay.
it's, everything as far as this whole marketing animal, it's all highly engineered. There's some people that are just intuitively good at it, but what's happening there, you can't replicate, because they're operating on this thing called unconscious competency. And generally anybody that's in that realm, they don't know how to tell you how to do what they do. And, it's like an airline pilot. An airline pilot is operating, a jumbo jet on unconscious competency. That's the only way he can fly that from A to B without killing everyone. It's because of literally tens of thousands of hours of layered upon skill that got him to that point that he doesn't realize, hey, I could have done this from day one. No, he would have killed everybody on day one. It just seems really easy where he is because that unconscious competency. And guys that are really good marketers, they're the same way. They've done this and done it and done it. and they don't realize what they're doing to get it to actually work. If you go up and you ask a pilot, go up to an airline pilot and say, hey, how do you fly this jumbo jet from LA to New York City? He'll say, oh, well, you just sit in the cockpit and you get clearance from the tower, and then you taxi out, you take off, and you navigate there and you land, right? Well, you try that, you're going to kill everybody on board, right? It sounds real easy. And it's nothing different with your marketing campaigns. It sounds really easy. Hey, we come out with a great idea, we write some copy, we make an offer, and we sell $1 million worth of product, right? It sounds really easy. But you guys know from going through here, there's a lot of things that I've unraveled as far as breaking down that unconscious competency, so you actually know the steps. You know it because no one talks about those steps. Nobody talks about timeline. They talk about, create your avatar. It's the same thing. Create your avatar is just like saying, hey, fly to New York. They don't realize there's a lot to creating an avatar. You don't just create an avatar out of what's in your head. That has to be a real person, and you have to understand what their wants are, their emotions, their feelings. What the experience they've gone through, what pains them, what keeps them up at night. When you understand all that stuff, creating the avatar now becomes easy. But think about all those layers of unconscious competency that exist in somebody that can just do that on the fly. You see them do it and they tell you how they did it, and you're like, oh, well, that sounds easy. And then you try it.
All right. Thank you, Don.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Who's up next? We got the Dark Knight in there.
I'm starting weather out here in San Diego. It's raining like crazy, flooding down my street, so I'm just at the high point treading water.
Yeah, man, I've just on this call, I've got 2 flash flood warnings, and I live in Huntington Beach. I'm like, what the heck's going on? World's coming to an end.
Hey, John, I got a question about SitePop.
Okay.
Any updates on whether there's going to be the iOS version that's going to be available to put on iPhones?
Yeah, we have it and it works. Our issue with it is distribution. With the iPhone, Apple wants you to distribute that through their Apple Store. And to get a product in the Apple Store, if you've ever tried that, you'll realize it's a real pain in the ass. So we have actually created 3 apps now that have all been denied. And mostly because they say it's just like somebody else's app. Well, it's not.
Yeah.
But the wrapper that we're putting on them, they all look like they don't want multiple things. They say you got to come up with a unique app. And it's like, it's been a pretty big challenge. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to come up with one now that is based on like a marketing quiz that's unique to us, where somebody can take the marketing quiz and see how they rate, and then it will lead them into how to set up their keywords. And so we're refabricating that whole process to try and get it through. But it works. We've got it. We've loaded it and tested it. It's just the distribution mode. And I'm going to ask Chris if he knows if there's a way we can get around that. I believe there is. I don't think Apple really likes it, but I'm going to have to look into that. But we've got the Apple version for desktop. You can load, on any desktop device. It's just where you have to go through the Apple Store for the apps is where we're having a bottleneck.
Yeah. I'm running it on a desktop on a Apple iMac, and I'm doing a lot of stuff on the Android. I'm just going buck wild with the Android devices, but
yeah,
I'm running into a few people that got the iPhones and stuff and iPads, and I'm like, well.
Yeah. There's a lot of those damn things out there. So, but no, we are actively pursuing that one.
Okay.
And we're about ready to start doing our rollout, our launch. We're not going to do like a big traditional internet marketing launch. We're just going to do a constant rollout through affiliates. So if you've got anybody that wants to do an affiliate deal on there, we're getting pretty close. I just created a new PowerPoint. Me and Chris are going to do the voiceover on it here pretty quick. And then we won't even really have to do webinars unless somebody specifically wants one. We'll just have the video sales letter. We'll have a whole campaign that you could do a 3-piece mailing out to, and we'll have it pretty well dialed in. But the thing, it really works. I mean, you've probably seen that, right?
It works so good. You were talking about siloing and stuff. So here's my story. The wife decided she wanted to carry a new product line. So this is a product line she's never had. It's brand new. She created the products page with it. I put in one term into it. 2 weeks later, for San Diego, we're about to knock the company off the #1 spot. we're in spot 4 in 2 weeks time frame, and the other 3 are the company. So I figure, over a little more time, I'm gonna knock the company right off their blocks.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And
Yeah,
this is all brand new stuff. So what I've done, kind of what you were talking about, now that I see that it's kicking butt on this, I went back and I basically reverse engineered the company and the top sites and stuff, got their whole brand keywords, and now I'm ready to move those into it too. So I pretty much follow what you were saying, doing that right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, this thing works really, really well. It's fixed stuff I've been trying to fix for years, on different sites that just flat would not rank for particular keywords, and it's actually fixed them. Because it really does. It trains Google's rank brain of who belongs at the top based on user signals. So when we can control those user signals, we have the ability to train the brain. So it's pretty cool. It's by far, this is what we really wanted when we originally developed Rainmaker. We just didn't really have the technology to do the mobile signals. But now with this, you know how many devices we have in the network right now. It's just from our beta testers, which is, it's a handful. There's probably, I think in the whole San Diego area, there's probably less than 20 devices active. And you see what it's doing for you.
Yes.
Up in my area, like in the Orange County area, there's even less, because most of my customers are across the country. They're not here local in my backyard. I think there's only 7 active devices, and it's already ranked me. I think I bounced between #1 and #4 for client getting system.
Wow. Okay.
And when it did that, I threw it in there just for the heck of it, just to try it. And within a couple of weeks, it was on the first page, and I'm like, holy shit. I looked, and the page it was sending them to was broken. It was an old, outdated page that from the past. And I'm like, I think I better fix that. So it really, really does work. It's anybody that's not using that at this point, you really want to consider that. If ranking in Google is important to you, that is a killer tool. There's no tool I know of, and there's never been a tool that I know of that you could literally drop your keywords into and let it do its thing, and it just worked like that.
And that's the funny thing. You talking about, you get all these emails, and we all get them, promising stuff. This also comes under the heading of set and forget. I basically, set the keywords, set up the devices, and I'm done. You truly walk away.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it. And the whole thing about it, when it sends those signals, it's not only sending those signals, training it for the current keyword that you're after. What it's doing, it's increasing your whole brand recognition across the board for all of your keywords. So, talk about a major impact. Google might have you, they might have you indexed for thousands of keywords, but you don't know it because most of them are, past page 10, and you just don't realize it. But when they start ranking your domain for higher domain authority and higher recognition and all of that, all of those keywords, they start bubbling up to the top, and now you see some real motion, some real movement. We've had some of the commercial sites that we run that they're literally ranking for 10, 20, 30,000 keywords, and our SEO campaigns are geared toward maybe 20 of those. So, talk about a ripple effect. When you can create, that whole trust factor, and your domain holds that trust factor, Google starts to reward it, especially when it sees the user signals. And to have actual user devices on mobile devices firing those signals through, no one else is doing that. If they are, they're doing it manually, and it's not replicatable, and it's certainly not scalable. And the other thing is, all the guys that are using the micro worker stuff, I've talked to several of them. I've talked to some pretty heavy hitters in the SEO industry over the last month, because they were wanting to get in on this as far as promoting it. And once they saw what it did, they no longer wanted to promote it. They wanted to use it. So it's kind of a bummer for me, because I wanted them to promote it, but they want to actually use it when they see what it does. One of the guys I talked to, he was still using crowdsearch.me. His budget, he was spending about $5,000 a month in crowdsearch.me signals. And he said, he doesn't want to let it go because he doesn't have anything to replace it, but it's not working anymore.
Yeah.
And it's because if you look at the map, all of those signals are coming out of India and, all third world countries. It doesn't make sense for those signals to be coming to your local pizza parlor. Sorry, it doesn't. Google's not stupid. So, it does make sense. Like, people have asked me, does it make sense that, people on the other side of the country would want to run a search for me? And it does. And I'll tell you why. How many times have you been getting ready to travel on a trip, and you're going across the country and you want to know where to eat? You pre-look for that stuff when you're in your hometown. You don't wait till you get there. You kind of map things out. People do that. So that's a perfectly natural thing to happen. And the way we send the signals is we send it out in concentric rings. So it'll take like a 10-mile radius around where your company is, and it will hit it hardest from the core. Any devices in that 10-mile ring they're going to hit it hard right there, right out of the gate. And then it goes out in concentric rings, and the further out it goes, the less signals you're going to get from out on the outside. But you still will get some, from the outside. But you're not going to get, the majority of your signals out of India. That's in CrowdSearch.me. You're going to get that. So
you're telling me I got to beef up San Diego then, because I think out of those 20 devices, I'm at least 8 of them.
Yeah, probably. So yeah, it's that's going to be the whole thing. As soon as we roll this out, there's at least 10 agencies that I've talked to that are just chomping at the bit to get a hold of this thing. And each one of them, they have over 100 customers. So each one of them, they're going to run it on all of them. So that's going to put a lot of devices in the network for us. And the other thing, yesterday I created some ads, and I am going to put an ad campaign. I think I talked to you about this earlier, Anthony. For those of you that don't know, Anthony's one of our resellers, and he's interested in spooling up some new SEO clients. And this is a perfect way to do it. I mean, this is a door opener. If you've ever been thinking about creating an SEO business, it's never been this easy. Creating an SEO, getting SEO customers has gotten more and more difficult over the last 10 years. If you were in it 10 years ago, it was a piece of cake. And I told everybody at the time, I'm like, this is the time to be in this business. And you got like a 2-year window, and then it's going to be a bloodbath. And I was right on the money. But now you've got a massive amount of business owners that are all either paying for SEO and not getting good results, or they're not paying for SEO because it's too expensive. But they all want it. You know, they don't necessarily want SEO, but they want traffic. They want to rank. They want to be found on Google. That's what they want. They want more customers, and their customers are all on search. They understand that. So they want to get in front of them, and they want to rank. So the problem is they don't want to spend a bunch of money. If they're with a company, even though they're not getting good results, it's really hard to get them to move, because they've probably been with 2 or 3. It's a pain to move every time, and they're just stuck. They don't want to do anything for fear of the unknown. What if they go with you and it's worse? A lot of times the customer or the client they're with, or the SEO company that they're with, they'll give them scare tactics. Well, if you leave, nobody's going to do what we're doing, and your ranking's going to fall apart. So they're scared. So with this, what you can do is you can come in and you can put this on top of what they're doing currently, and not affect it at all, other than boost their rankings. And you can do it cheap. I mean, with our agency version of this, it only costs $4 a piece per month to run these campaigns. So for something that costs you $4, you can turn around and sell them an SEO campaign for $97 that sits right on top of what they're already doing, that's actually going to make that work. For $97. It's a no-brainer. For anybody that doesn't do SEO because it's too expensive, $97 a month is not too expensive. It's a way to open the door, even if the door is closed. And what I'm going to do, the campaign that I'm currently writing up, is SEO for under $100 a month that is personally guaranteed. It's guaranteed to work. So the guarantee is like this: for $97 a month, they've got to run the devices. That's part of the guarantee. They have to have devices so they get the signals coming back. But at $97 a month, they've got to run the campaign for 3 months, and in 3 months, I guarantee they're going to be on the first page for at least one of their keywords, at the least. And if they're not, I guarantee it that I will run the campaigns as long as it takes to get them there. So really what they look at is a worst case scenario is they're going to spend, just under $300 to get something that works, and it's guaranteed, and I'm going to do it for as long as it takes. So it is a no-brainer as far as opening the door. And the reality, as anybody that's used this product, the reality is it's probably going to work in like 2 weeks, which is what we've seen. It's on average, it's like 2 to 4 weeks, and you've got pages, or you've got keywords in the top 10 that weren't there before. So for us, even if I had to, let's say worst case scenario, they got really competitive keywords, and we don't get them ranked on the first page in the first 90 days. It costs me like $4 a month to continue the campaign to get them there. It's not a big deal. So it's a pretty rock solid thing for any of our resellers that want to get new SEO customers. And here's something I can tell you. I've been doing SEO for over 20 years. When you give someone good results, they want to give you more work. Like if you go in and you say, hey, don't change your SEO company, just don't even tell them what you're doing. Let me add this on top for $97. And then when they see the results, guess who they're going to trust? Because the guys they were paying a bunch of money to every month didn't do it for them. It was you at $97. So what are they going to do? They're going to take the budget where they're spending $1,000 with these other guys, and they're going to hand it over to you to see what you can do. You show them what you can do with $97. What are you going to do with $1,000? So,
Hey, John, Chris is asking for the link to get his hands on it.
oh, okay. internetdominators.com/SP for site pop. And I'm pretty sure that will work. Let me check here and just make sure. Yep. SP will take you right to the order page. And actually, you know what? For any of you guys that are on here, that order page has setup fees. And all of my Dominators, I'm going to let you guys in with no setup fees. So you can go look at that page, but don't order off that page. I'll send you guys out later today. I'll send you out a link that's got the page with no setup fees, because I don't want you guys to have to pay the setup fees to get into that. So, but yeah, it works really, really well. And if you don't know like the background behind it, it's a network of devices, mobile devices, tablets, cell phones, Android devices, desktop computers, laptop computers, all kinds of computer devices connected to the internet that we send signals through that makes it look like that device is running a search on Google that's a branded search for you. And when Google sees people searching for your brand, it says, hey, these guys must be important because people out in the world know about them. And because of that, it's going to rank your keywords really, really quickly. Because most small companies, people don't know the brand, so they're not running brand search for you. If you run almost any search now on Google, you'll see most of the sites at the top are brands. Most of them are big brands. So it's kind of an unfair advantage against the little guy. The little guy is suffering because of this, because no one knows their brand, so they can't compete, and they don't even know it. They don't even know what's holding them back. It's the brand recognition. So we can actually create that brand recognition through search signals, which tells Google you're more important than you probably really are, but that's okay, because we're going to take advantage of that and get you to rank so you can actually get traffic and then prove your worth on it. So that's the way it works. So in essence, for the system to work for you, you have to connect devices to it. If you have one device connected, like let's say you connect a cell phone, you run the app on your Android device, that will get you 100 searches a month just from running that app in our network. If you run two, like let's say you have an Android device and a tablet, then you'll get about 300 searches a month. And if you run three devices, let's say a desktop, a laptop, a phone, any combination, you could have 3 Android phones, it doesn't matter. But when you have 3 devices connected, you'll get 500 searches a month. These are high quality brand searches throughout the network. And that's what is really moving the needle. So when you get, 500 searches a month coming into your site, that is going to make a big difference. And that's what you want to strive for. Ted wants to know if it only works when the device is turned on. This is a really cool thing, Ted. You don't have to have the device connected 24/7 for it to work. You've got to have it connected enough time during the day that it can run 17 searches off of your device per day. These searches, this is another really cool thing. When you're talking about micro workers, the micro workers are running searches in the middle of the night. Our network, this is another factor that we found from long, long ago that Google looks at, is unnatural timing. Not just proximity, but timing. If your searches are all in the middle of the night, that's not very natural. So you get this one, Anthony. It runs the searches to you mostly during daylight business hours. Yeah, so you're going to get the majority of your searches to your site during like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. in your time zone. You will get a few outside of that, but the majority of them are going to come in that time zone. So,
And I've been kind of seeing it because it comes with a dashboard, guys, that you get to see the devices you have and a report. And I, being nervous and it being new, the first couple of days I kept checking to see when it was running. You're right. I would look at night and I wouldn't see anything. I look first thing in the morning and I wouldn't see anything. That wait till about 10 o'clock and I'd see one or maybe two. So you can kind of see it trickling in during the day. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Russ, I think, is asking how many keywords can you run per device?
yeah, what it is, it's by project. So each project consists of a domain and 12 keywords, and you can put as many different brand variations as you like in there. And each project, it takes 3 devices per project to get the 500 searches per month for that project. So you can change them also. Like, let's say you put your original 12 keywords in and run those for a month or two. They're all ranking very well. You can go back into the control panel and change the keywords out and start hitting other keywords. So it's very flexible. You can change at any time. You can update your keywords, update your brands, any of that stuff. So another question that we get is like, if it's a national thing with a lot of competition, we've got a semiconductor company and very, very competitive. So what we did, we actually set up 3 projects for the same domain, and some of them were the same keywords and some of them were variations of the keywords, but we've got 3 projects pointed at one domain, 9 devices. So we literally have 1,500 searches a month coming into this domain, and it's moving the needle for a national semiconductor company.
You didn't tell me that because that's interesting because one of the questions was how many Gary's kind of asking, can a friends install, and I know that it's 3 devices per project is the max, and so I maxed out one project, and now you give me the answer. I'm just going to go back, create some more projects, and then max out more devices. So
yeah, exactly. So that's there's a lot of different ways that you can work it. Now, I wouldn't connect 3 projects to like a small local business where it doesn't make sense for you to be getting thousands of searches per month. But if you were a national company and you had already a whole bunch of searches per month, then it makes sense. It'll blend right in. So again, you want to keep this to my methodology of cloud cover. If it's a brand new site, you don't have any searches, this right out of the gate will give you cloud cover because of the way it does what it does. But 500 searches a month is not going to raise any red flag for a new site, because you could get 500 searches a month. That's only 17 a day. It's not a huge, enormous amount of traffic. It's not enough to raise anybody's eyebrow. But it falls into what's natural for a new site. If you've already got a site and you've already got, let's say you've got 500 people searching per month, what this is going to do is this is going to add 500 high quality searches that is going to take Google and it's going to raise your authority, because a lot of these are going to be brand searches. Here's a cool thing that it does. Most people don't know the real mechanics behind what it's doing. And this is some of the magic right here. It will run the search first for the generic keyword, knowing well that you don't rank for it, but it's going to run the search anyway. And basically it's doing this to tell Google they made a mistake. Because when you don't show up, the searcher is going to go and revise the search. And it's going to add the brand to the keyword. And then it's going to find your site. It's going to click through. And Google says, oh, when somebody wants that keyword, they're really looking for this brand, so we know who to send them to. So that is some of the real magic right there. Let's see, we got, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Not sure what that is, but interesting.
Google.
Yeah, I've got. They must have heard what we're trying to do here.
You're busted.
Oh no, I don't believe that for a minute. But anyway, um, this might have something to do with our rainstorm. Who knows? But anyway, guys, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up because it doesn't look like this is going to stop and everyone's muted. So even when I mute, it doesn't make any difference.
Hey,
All
John,
right.
there's a lot of questions people are asking. You want me to copy these and send them to you so you can answer them, or?
Yeah, I'll send an email out specifically on this. So yeah, that would be cool.
Okay.
So, all right, everybody, have a great Valentine's Day. I'll do probably next week. I'll do a live webinar specifically for Site Pop, and address all these questions, and you guys can ask live, whatever questions you got. So, all right, guys, have a great week, great Valentine's Day, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.